seems to be a little bit on a big joint side. When we were doing this that day, it came down. That rain came down so hard on us. So back and forth, make sure everything's good. These guys with the board walls are real good. Then it makes my job look good too. So if you have a bad poured wall, and I lay block on a bad poured wall and I don't completely square it really well, look at that. Right on the money, because I put my level right there on that wall. And everything looks good. So, everything went good here. Sometimes what I do is I fill one hole. If I fill one hole, the time I start laying block, I can pull the string line without moving my block. Hopefully the mortar stiffen up so it will hold and bond. Now I'm going to lay block on the on this wall, but when you got a long distance, you can't just rely on you got to pull your string line really tight. So when I do this block right here with the score is a jam block. That means I could cut it one right in half, and I'll get an equal distance. Put it on both sides. I got one there. So here's my string line and my rods. I'm going to pull real tight on this line. It's not going anywhere because it's hooked to the basement board wall. And then lightly, I push this string line in about a ½ inch, and now I could just place this block lightly on there. Then I take the other piece and I move this in a little bit. Okay, so I know that that line's not going to go anywhere. Lightly right on the block, and I know for a fact that's not going anywhere. And if you feel the tension, there's no bow in the middle. When you have a span, like that front wall is 40 feet, I might have a laser and spot a block in the middle, because no matter how strong you pull that line tight, you get sag in the middle. So I'm going to start laying block from down here. The right-handed block layer lays it right here. I just throw it down in the middle because with a 6-inch block, and I put a little groove in it. There's a certain position way of putting your a 6-inch block, any kind of block. You have the smooth end right here, and you got your rough end goes down. So I like positioning my laborers, position it towards me. So what I can do is butter it on both sides. I grab it, and then I push it into the other block, right close to that line, about 1/4 inch higher than the line. What I have to use is a torpedo. I'm pretty good, but I'm not that good. So I lay the torpedo down there. It looks really good, nice, and I smack it down pretty even with the string line. See, I didn't push it hard enough. So sometimes I grab a little bit of mortar and I run it up the sides. This house does not have any brick ledge. It doesn't have it might be cultured stone, but I have to tool it with the joiner so it looks good, because they're going to see that. So inside, I really don't have too much, make it look pretty, because your concrete floor is going to be even with the top of this block. Garage doors on the opposite end. There's going to be probably a 4-inch pitch. So 4 inches above that foundation in the front is where the floor is going to be. The elevations of the floor right in the garage door area. So, and then up here, concrete floor is going to be even with this top of this block. So I did a pretty good job on the footing, and so I put a little groove. Let's see if this is going to work out. All right. Let's see if this one works. You're supposed to tap it this way, so you got that right there, and all you do is cut it down, and it's there. Well, guess what, folks? There's something in my mortar, so I have to pick this up, and I feel I got a clump. See, block layers can't stand that. I must have had a bad batch of mortar, because I can't push down. I'm pushing down on a block, and I feel a piece of stone, piece of garbage. That's why it's important to make sure when you're making mortar, there's no garbage in your sand or your mortar. So I pick this stuff up here and I place it back there now. So I will continue working, and then when I get to the garage door areas, I'll show you what I do about measurements. See you later. All right, guys, I am working on the garage door right now. The garage door, it says 3 foot 8.5, and I laid the 3 foot 8.5 right now. So you see this block right here, it's not done yet. It's a small little piece. I let it set up a little bit before I go back and tweak it and make it look nice, fill it, and put my strap in. So right now I measured from the rough opening of the door. You have to have, it's a 9-foot door. You got to leave a 9'3" opening. So I pulled a tape measure, and my mark's right there at 9'3". So right now I'm going to lay this block, and I'll explain to you what I'm going to do. So there we go. There's my mark down there. Now, you remember when I said that when you have a long run, a 40-foot run, I always leave my laser on just in case there's a droop in that line. I know I'm not technically the center of the 40-foot, but I'm going to see if the line's tight enough and if it's working. So what I do is I level it, making sure I'm good. Then I laser it so I can go down on this thing. Sometimes I rock it into place because the joint might be a little bit tight. Level. So I noticed that the footing's a little bit tight right now. So what I do is I put water first. Let me see if I got it. 2.5. 2'5" is in between. So this is what I do. I put a little dab of water. This is a little bit of a tight joint. 2'5". I roughly need a 13-inch piece. So I'm going to cut a 13-inch piece with my hammer. I don't need a saw all the time. So what I do is I make a little mark right there at 13 inches. I go across with a little bit of score. 13's right there. Once you listen to the echo, when there's an echo to it, it's ready to break, so you stop. Right there is that sound. There's that sound, and I hit it here. Look at that. Perfect piece. So now I come over here. I'll butter it. We'll see if it's going to work. Now, make sure I got 2'5".